Yes, no, yes, no. They put the phone down, but they're not giving content. They're not talking about what's going on in the market. Welcome to Make It Happen TV. My name is Allsopp. That's Spencer Lodge.
And I'm Spencer. Welcome to the show. That was the first intro Lewis has done. He took 32 takes just to do that thing just now. Right, today we're going to talk to you about a subject. Sorry, I've been Mike. Sorry, he's been moaning a bit about this, but I'm Mike. I have to talk into the mic. Do you have a bit like that? Forward. Talking to the mic. Does everyone still like my jacket? Anyway, how do you take salespeople from average or mediocre or even novices and turn them into rock stars? Because I know a load of salespeople out there would love very much to be a rock star.
Yeah. What do you think?
But they don't often end up that way.
Why do you think then?
Bad management, bad leadership, a lot of the time.
I agree.
And I think that a lot of companies don't get that right.
Yep.
And the best people to learn from, as far as I'm concerned, are people that have demonstrated they could do the job themselves
100%
successfully.
agree.
So I'm a big fan of teaching people what you know.
Yeah.
There are some sales managers, sales leaders, sales directors, whatever you want to call them, that actually feel threatened if people do well under them, and so they always want to be the kind of cat with the cream, and because of that it stops some people growing. I think there are people out there that have got inherent values and beliefs and drive and ambition. There's not many of them,
yes,
okay, that are going to make it no matter what.
I agree.
And it's got nothing to do with who they work for. It's just in their bones. It's in their drive and their desire from maybe an experience they've had in their life where it's kind of like, I'm going to prove to the world. They're fiercely competitive, or they've got a point to prove. So let's move the rock stars per se.
The DNA superstars, the ones that no matter what, we're going to make. Okay.
So let's just remove those because whether you or I are involved in it, they're going to be successful.
Agreed.
So let's take the ones that are mediocre or the ones that are novices. The ones that are mediocre, a lot of the time, I think that whatever the message is to get them to achieve, that message hasn't been delivered to them in a way that they find it palatable, so it hits a chord with them and helps them develop and grow. A lot of the time people respond very badly to negativity. Yeah. Also, they respond badly to the roller coaster of sales, you know, the highs and lows that are involved. Yeah, it's kind of like one day it's like, yeah, and the next minute it's like, ooh, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Takes time to build your shield up, your armor. You know, I've seen people that, you know, they're manic depressive for the first 3 months, and then you just explain to them, look, you got to man up. This is part of the role. It's the reason you're earning 6-7 times more money than you earn in the UK. Take the good with the bad, and I think it takes time to emotionally get that. It's not an easy fix at all. Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I think that a lot of the time that you talk about emotional armor, I think a lot of the time people can be affected, even if it's not a sale that fell apart. They can be affected by somebody saying no to one question, or being indifferent to a scenario, or let me think about it as maybe one of the objections that they're facing. It can just, or even somebody not being nice to them in the office. Yeah. Because they're so highly strung. How do you get then people that are mediocre, okay, average or journeyman salespeople, okay, as I call them?
Yeah. Journeyman, you mean by taking loads of different jobs?
No, journeyman is plodders. Let's put it that way. A plodder.
Yeah, okay.
So a plodder is somebody that doesn't fit in that top 20% of the sales force, doesn't fit in the bottom 20% of the sales force. They're there, they do okay, okay, they're generally amiable in terms of their character, okay, or okay, they're snipers. Yeah. Okay, where they cause problems. Well, no, the snipers in the office. There's negativity that comes from them. That negative self-talk stops them being as successful as they can be. Yes. And anyone that's got negative self-talk influences other people with their negative self-talk too. Yeah. So how do we get those people and educate them and inspire them and motivate them and give them a step-by-step process to get them where they need to go?
So the big one for me, first of all, is I like to enable. I'm a big believer in enabling staff. So I don't like to restrict staff. You said before about people are going to do it with or without you. They're going to do it with or without me. So with me, I want them on my team. I don't want to hold them back. So, for instance, Darren Murphy's our best sales agent in the company, and he's always neck and neck with another guy. And Darren, with or without me, I think would have wanted to open an office. So it's expensive to do, but I wanted Darren on my team. So Darren now runs a team, runs an office, still brings in his own money, but now he has the responsibility of looking after staff, upskilling them and training them. And I think some companies would fear that, because they would be like, well, what if he figures out how to do it himself, and does he want to do it himself? And these guys can do it with or without me. So my big theory, going back to enabling, is that Darren's one scenario where I want to enable him to carry on his growth, and I want to be the guy to do that. But then we talk about taking the rock stars out of the equation. How do you enable the mediocres? It's a good question. It's a hard question, because it is a difficult one. You're mediocre generally for a reason, and that reason falls into two categories. Number one, which is the big one for me, the attitude. Generally, the most people I've met that have been at the level of being mediocre have been because they've got to that point where they've done enough and they haven't got past that point. So you've got that. I would say that's 90% of the people that are the plodders. They just get there, they're happy with their salary, and they're done. The 10%, if you take that and you say to me, Lewis, what do I do with the 10%? That's a difficult one. For me, you train them, you show them, you motivate them. But there's no hidden formula. The people the plodders that have been there for years, they know how to do the job already. So there's only so much you can actually train someone, isn't there? They're going to get to that point where they know exactly what to do. They might just need the motivation. They might need a change of environment. They might need a kick up the arse, or whatever it may be. But if they've been there for years and years and years at our company, I know they will never be number one unless they change their lifestyle. So for me, it's an attitude factor.
So how do you train the attitude?
You can't. I put on LinkedIn about a week ago, I put a post on there which loads of people interacted with. I said, would you employ attitude or experience? Every person, interestingly, bar one, said they would take attitude. And unless you've been a doctor, obviously, or a lawyer, you'd need experience. Because you can train experience. That takes time. I don't believe that you can train that attitude. I don't believe you can get someone to go, do you know what? You're going to be motivated.
So how do you then recruit attitude?
You can't. It's the most difficult thing I've ever dealt with recruitment, because I've met people and they've went, Lewis, do you know what? I'm going to be the best in your company. And they come here and they're, oh my God, within a week, their emotional armor, what we're talking about, is damaged and they can't get themselves up again. And that's what the attitude is. You know, you can get knocked down 7 times, but you've got to get up 8 times to be successful in real estate, in life, and anything. And it's making sure that they get back up. And, you know, I spoke to someone yesterday in my office and he said to me, you know, it's just not for me. And he was really down. And I said, look, he's a really good guy. And I just said to him, maybe 2 things. The job's not for you, or the area's not for you. So what I've done in my business decision with him is we're going to move him area. Maybe he's not a villa agent. Maybe he needs more transactions, more clients. So you can move people into a different environment, whether that is emotionally or physically the product that they're selling. So for me, it's square pegs, round holes. You can have someone that's terrible at one job, and if you put them in a different job, they might be a rock star. So it's about finding what suits their personality and their attitude. Just because they're not a good salesperson, what they're doing now, doesn't mean they're not going to be good at something else.
So when we look at that, I think that the best way to get people's attitudes to improve, is to take really small steps.
Yes.
And if you take really small steps with people and you praise and encourage, those really small steps will start to be bigger steps in the long run.
Yeah.
Their attitude will change because they will have proven to themselves that they can do something that previously their attitude would have told them they can't.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Get it.
So, and this is where I think a lot of companies go wrong. It's kind of like that. It's almost they give up on people.
Yeah.
They still work within the organization, but they give up rather than to say, how can I take that guy 2 steps ahead? You know, how can I take him just 2 steps ahead? And those 2 steps may be 2 very small things. But if I'm getting there, and it's like when you've got children, young children, we don't sit there and the baby learns to walk Okay, it doesn't get up and walk first time. It gets up and then it falls down. And when it gets up, you're like, yay, standing up. And then it gets up and it stands up for a bit longer. And and you support, well done, well done, well done. Okay, and then it takes its first step and falls down. But you're still well done. You're giving that positive encouragement and positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
But when you've got somebody in a business environment, that doesn't happen. It's kind of like, they get a bit of encouragement at first, and then someone will make them feel less positive about themselves because of what they didn't do rather than what they did do. You know, the baby is not told, guess what, you fell down, so that's bad. You know, it's kind of like it's completely ignored, isn't it? It's completely ignored. So I believe you can turn people into rock stars by just taking one step at a time with people. People will find a natural limit. That's that natural limit based on their belief system of what they're.
We should test this. We should test this. We should invite you into the office.
Okay.
And I'll give you 5 plodders. They're not bad. They've been with me a long time. This would be a great challenge for Make It Happen University.
I've got examples of it.
I'll give you real estate. I'm not about
he
you.
Wants me into training stuff.
Come and make us more money.
Oh my God.
For free.
Come in and do it for free. Yeah. Prove a point to the audience.
Come on.
Put your money where your mouth
do that.
I think that I'll be happy to do that.
Yeah.
I think that if you can show people that just with those small steps that they can look at their life and they can remind themselves of where they were and where they've come, it will give them the belief that they can be more than they are. And in psychologically, for most of these people, they are just stuck in their head. They've got the same ability.
Yeah.
They've got the same arms and legs and fingers and toes. They've got the same market knowledge. They've got the same understanding of the environment they work in. They know the prices and everything else. All it is something in their brain saying to them, I'm not worth more.
There's so many variants, though, Spence. This is my issue. So salespeople, they need money in the bank to become successful. And the reason they need money in the bank, very simply, they make better decisions when they're not financially worrying.
Yeah.
You know, they're looking behind their back and worrying about paying the rent rather than looking forward to what house they're going to buy or what car they want to buy. So I've got people in my books, they've been with me years, and honestly, some really talented, and they're actually a classmate's friends. They're guys that have been there a long time, 4 or 5 years, and, you know, if I had a Christmas party at my house, I'd invite them over. They're just nice people. But there's people like that they haven't accelerated because there's a variant of what happens when they finish work. What they go and buy that new quad bike from Dragon Mart at the weekend, and they buy the new drones, and they spunk all their money up the wall, everything. And they come back to step 1, and it goes back to the worry factor, and then it's making enough money to survive. So there's an attitude in the office, and there's a massive attitude out the office as well. You've got to have both aspects right. So for me, I've got people that are very talented that, you know, you can tell them you're good, you're well, you will do well at the job. And they might do well for a month, even a quarter. But the minute that they spend that money, they go back to where they was 6 months ago, and they go back to worrying, and their mindset changes again to looking behind instead of forward. So my mum used to say to me, she goes, Lewis, make sure you got a nest egg. She'd always say it to me, and I used to go, shut up, Mum, I'm fine, I'm going down to the nightclub tonight, and I'll spend all my money then. Now I understand it, but I understand it from a business perspective that if I had no money as Allsopp and Allsopp in my bank, my decisions would be so different. I hold on to sales for the company, and I would say, we're not doing this deal unless we get our full fee, because I deserve that full fee. Unless someone give me a real reason that we've made a mistake, I am due that money. Where if it was, I need the money, I'd be like, just do the deal. What can we get out of this deal? So they're two very different mindsets. I think an estate agent, if they're due 4% in a deal, and they think, right, we could sell a 2.5 million dirham home and we get 100,000 dirhams. We charge 2% to the buyer, 2% to the seller. That's where the market is today. A good agent will hold on. And I've seen it. The people that are wealthy in my company individually, they've got money in the bank, and they will go, do you know what? I'm not doing the deal. And they will call the buyer and say, you've got no reason to discount my fee. Would you discount your fee? You're a lawyer. I'll come to you when I'm in prison, and you tell me, hey, can I do it at half price? You won't do it, so why should I? And that's the mindset of someone that has a bit of money in the bank. So there's definitely two mindsets that I think. You've got your day-to-day mindset and then your out-of-work mindset. If you can get them together, you've got a very powerful salesperson.
So I'm going to come and school you with 5 of your staff.
I won't school me. You make me money if you do it. You're not schooling me.
You ain't going to make any money out of doing it. That's unfair. No, fairness, you have the money. I don't care. You need it more than me.
I actually do need it more than you.
So, I believe differently.
Yes.
Okay, and there are some people who inherently won't ever change. And that's because no matter what you say, no matter what you do, they just will not change based upon reasons that they have of their own. It's like, it's like a Christian, someone who's a Christian, getting them to believe differently, okay, and believe not to be a Christian is almost an impossible task.
Yeah.
But to approach people and look at what their values are, a lot of the time it's just unlocking a switch.
Yeah.
It's them looking at that top salesperson, and rather than going, wow, you know how he got to the top, don't you?
Yeah.
He's been cheating, isn't he?
Yeah.
Rather than that, looking at that person and saying, do you know what, that person's great. He's got the same job as I've got. How do I go about doing that?
Spence, that's the DNA, mate. I mean, from my point of view, I figure someone out very quickly as a salesperson. When I watched a couple of people get promotions in my office recently, and the people that go over to that person and say, well done, they're the people that you think, do you know what? You've got something. It's the people that I don't think I can change that go, oh, he's got that because he's family, or he's got that because he's friends, or he's got that because he plays golf with the CEO at the weekend. All these reasons, and I hear it. Do you not think that in my business, if my best agents are my best friends, not our coincidence, because we've got the same mentality. When they weren't making money, 6 years later, these guys are making money. So, but you will hear, he's doing well because he knows this guy. She's doing well. Julia Ferrari, who's been with me for 6 years, she's putting deals because she knows Lewis and she knows Carl, and she's been a long time. They just moan. So I don't believe them people you can change, and we'll have a big debate over this. And I know that this is what Spencer is amazing at doing, it changing people's mindsets, and I know you're exceptional at it, but I think I'm very good at it as well. And I think if you've got 5 people there that you cannot, after training them, giving them KPIs, targets, they may do it for a month. Lifestyle change and a life switch going is very different, because you say about unlocking the key. I don't think some people have got the locks to unlock. I think they're soldered shut at their target and not above their target.
Okay, well, if you work for Allsopp and you think that I could make a difference and you would like to be one of those 5 people chosen, then why don't you let your gaffer know?
Please do.
And let's see if we can put this together and demonstrate that. And Amma, can we film us doing that? Okay,
that'd
and
be
then
great.
you can see the outcome of the experiment or the test that we run. But I'm a big believer in the fact that there are people out there that really could do great things. They just don't realise it themselves. Just
told my staff that they're soldered shut at 80,000. If you apply for this, I'm so sorry.
Who would want to work for him? Tell you what, you might want to work for me after I spend some time with you.
Wow.
I don't have any jobs, but anyway. All right, good. Hopefully this has been valuable to you. Okay, remember, if you're one of those people, let us know. Always like, subscribe, share. Let us know that we're doing a good job for you and we're adding value to you. If you like our content, make sure that other people can see our content as well. If you want to see more of our content and you want to answer questions, or your questions you want to answer, we want to answer those questions too. So let us know what they are and we'll deal with them either in a Facebook Live for you or in the episodes of The Close. But hopefully you've enjoyed the episodes that we've been running so far. More to come. Okay, this is episode number 8 episodes in. Okay, we'll be running this show for the following. Just so you know, give you a bit of detail on numbers. What did we get on the first episode?
620,000 views.
620,000 people watched the first episode.
Does that make us viral or not? Is that a viral?
It makes you have a virus.
Oh, wow. Okay. Probably caught that from you then.
That would be your dog collar. And if you enjoyed it, let us know. And if you want to become part of the show, if you'd like to come on, if you'd like Lewis and I to have a chat with you about stuff, if we can add some value to you. Maybe you run a real estate brokerage here in the UAE. Maybe you've run a direct sales force here in the UAE, and you would like to come and let Lewis and I ask you a few questions, learn about your business, and maybe indirectly or directly, okay, or unashamedly promote your product and service. I'm sure we'd love to have you on. We do have a special guest joining us in one of the episodes coming up. Okay, he doesn't know about it right now, but he's about to know about it. Okay, Lewis's brother Carl, who's the partner at Allsopp, who's a very different character to Lewis, but we'll get him on the show so you can see the chalk and cheese and the different personalities behind building a successful business. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Okay, enough of my ramble, enough of my tweed, okay, and enough of you for now.
Wow.
We'll see you soon, folks, and whatever you do, make it happen.